As the world found itself embroiled in the throes of World War II, the leaders of the Allied powers knew they had to plan for the post-war era. The global conflict, which lasted from 1939 to 1945, had wreaked havoc on an unimaginable scale. Nations were devastated, millions of lives were lost, and the social fabric was torn apart. Amidst this turmoil, it became evident that a strategic plan was needed for a peaceful and stable post-war world. This led to the conception of the Yalta Conference, a meeting that would bring together the most powerful leaders of the time. The goal? To decide the fate of a war-torn world and establish a blueprint for peace. This conference was not just a diplomatic gathering, but a pivotal moment in history, where decisions made would shape the world for decades to come. The Yalta Conference was a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, a chance for the Allied powers to shape a peaceful post-war world. Held in February 1945, the Yalta Conference marked a significant turning point in history. As World War II raged on, three of the most powerful men in the world convened at a seaside resort in Yalta, a city on the Crimean Peninsula. Their names were Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin. Each of them brought to the table not only their political prowess, but also the collective hopes and fears of the nations they represented. The United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union, three giants on the global stage, found themselves in a rare moment of cooperation, driven by the urgency of a world at war. The agenda at Yalta was no small task. It was about reorganizing a Europe battered by war, and setting a course for a more peaceful world. Each leader had his own vision of what post-war Europe should look like, and so they debated, negotiated, and sometimes clashed over the fate of nations. Roosevelt, the pragmatic idealist, sought a world where nations resolved their conflicts not by war, but through a global organization for peace, a vision that would later take shape as the United Nations. Churchill, the indomitable Lion of Britain, was determined to preserve the influence of the Western democracies and protect the free world from the spread of communism. And then there was Stalin, the iron-willed leader of the Soviet Union. His primary concern was the security of his country, which had borne the brunt of the Nazi invasion. Stalin wanted a buffer zone of friendly states along his western border, a demand that would have far-reaching implications for the map of Europe. Through 8 days of intense deliberations, these three leaders hammered out agreements that would shape the world for decades to come. Yet the Yalta Conference was more than just a meeting. It was a moment of great historical significance where the course of human history was decided not on the battlefield, but at the negotiation table. The Yalta Conference, a meeting of giants, set the stage for significant changes in the world order. The decisions made at the Yalta Conference would shape the world for decades to come. One of the most significant outcomes was the decision to divide Germany into 4 zones of occupation. The Big Three, consisting of the United States, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom, along with France, each took control of a distinct piece of the German pie. This division was a tactical move, aimed at preventing Germany from rising once again as a militaristic threat. This was a poignant moment, marking the end of World War II and the beginning of a new era of geopolitical maneuvering. But it wasn't just about Germany. The Yalta Conference also saw the birth of a new international organization destined to play a pivotal role in world affairs. The United Nations, as it was named, was established as an institution aimed at promoting international cooperation and maintaining peace and security. This was an ambitious project, born out of the ashes of a world ravaged by war. The United Nations was to be a beacon of hope, a platform where nations could engage in dialogue instead of resorting to violence. This was a significant shift in global dynamics. The United Nations was not just another international forum, it was a testament to mankind's desire for peace, an attempt to ensure that the horrors of the world wars would not be repeated. In essence, the Yalta Conference was a turning point in history. It marked the end of one era and the beginning of another. The division of Germany and the establishment of the United Nations were key decisions, shaping the geopolitical landscape of the post-war world. The Yalta Conference, with its far-reaching decisions, not only ended a war but also laid the foundation for a new world order.